Hello, and welcome to the Continuity Report powered by ohmTown.com. Today is June 16th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 24. Hey, it's 2024, and it's Episode 2024. I'm Mayor Watt, and that's Continuity Report, and right there are the neurons that I'm trying to pinch, and I never get a chance to. Those are representative of the computational energy needed for the sentient AI from the future to communicate.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. I thought you were still talking.
Hello, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about the Count of Monte Cristo, the Count of Monte Cristo, Severance and Silo, movies that Tim Burton should have directed, Practical Magic 2, The Rookie Season 7, Presumed Innocent, the best thriller TV shows of 2024 so far, 2 Spaceballs, a new Matt Damon Apple TV Heist film, and a new Stephen King show for MGM. Everything is powered by ohmTown.com. Go over there and become a citizen. We're going to see on the other side of this. This sentient AI is just side-eyeing me with their own visualizer. That right there, that isn't how the sentient AI communicates with Mayor Watt. It's a whole different, there's a whole thing there. We can
Not
talk
like
about
this.
it. Not like that. All right, folks. Let's get into all 10 of today's articles. The first one is the Count of Monte Cristo, a review, a splendid update of the French classic, feels at once timeless and thrillingly new. It's a Variety article written by Peter de Bruges. Alexandre Dumas' 1,200-page adventure tale doesn't condense easily, but a pair of French directors have cracked it brilliantly, underscoring what the story has to say about revenge. Apparently it's a critic's pick. I haven't seen it yet, so I wanted to see this and try and figure out what this is all about.
Well, and this says an update, so do they mean an update from the book, or do they mean an update from a previous film?
Well, they say last year, in bold defiance of post-pandemic doomsayers, French distributor how is that pronounced? Pathé? Doubled down on its commitment to the big screen experience with its extravagant, no expense spared adaptation of Alexandre Dumas' The Three Musketeers, a starry 2-part tentpole that featured dynamic single-take swashbuckling sequences and a delicately wicked turn from Eva Green. Which, that right there says I've missed a star of a movie. I'll have to go and get The Three Musketeers. As theatrical events go, it was fun, if not especially faithful to the book, demonstrating that the French could rival the Americans in showmanship. This year, by way of an encore, Pathé, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. If not, I apologize, delivered a sweeping 3-hour retelling of Dumas' crowning achievement, The Count of Monte Cristo, at the 2024 Cannes Film Festival. Whereas Megalopolis and Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, swallowed up much of the oxygen at Cannes, Count premiered with far less fanfare, but felt like a genuine triumph. A stunning, emotionally satisfying adventure tale built on a rock-solid source material. So, it's 3 hours long.
Which is really kind of shocking, but I guess if they're trying to tell the whole story from 1,200 pages, maybe that was necessary.
Now, here's kind of, to me, I don't think that, I don't remember Megalopolis. Doggone it. There was, I thought we might have talked about it in something that you have to go see, that kind of a thing. But Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, being compared to The Count of Monte Cristo, which is like been in the zeitgeist of reading in movies and plays and pretty much everything artistic. Wow. I mean, that's pretty spectacular.
Well, it's really selling it. Plus, if it is as good as the remake of Three Musketeers as this article portrays, maybe both of them are a must-watch.
I can't remember if I've actually seen it. It says earlier adaptations, including an overlong miniseries with Gerard Depardieu. I swear I've actually seen this, but I don't know. I'm getting old.
And by the way, Megalopolis was sci-fi, and it was about rebuilding NYC, New York City, as a utopia after a disaster.
Yeah, I must have seen a trailer or something about it. So, as Orson Welles sagely observed, if you want a happy ending, that depends, of course, on where you stop your story. With The Count of Monte Cristo, Dumas inverted readers' expectations, giving them a happy beginning instead. His hero, Edmond Dante, will soon be promoted to captain, clearing the way to marry his beloved Mercedes. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, the young sailor seems to be floating on champagne bubbles, giddy in love, reunited with his father and best friend, Fernand de Montserf. Before the couple could say I do, however, Dante is falsely accused of conspiring with Napoleon, arrested, and sent to an island prison. Oh, done. Okay, well.
Right. End of story, pretty short. By the way, it looks like this was last made in 2002.
As a movie or the series?
As a movie.
Does it say who was in that? Because it isn't this, right? Yeah, this is at 2024.
It looks like Jim Caviezel, Guy Pearce. No, that doesn't sound right. I'm wondering if that's the current one. No, it is. Jim Caviezel, Guy Pearce. It had Henry Cavill in one of its earliest roles.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And a bunch of other people, but...
So, I don't know. Maybe we can watch both if this one is available to acquire. But let's not spend too much time on this. I will encourage people, hey, go and watch The Count of Monte Cristo when it's released. Wherever you can watch it, and then come back and talk to us about it, because we will watch it as well. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in Reality Hacker. Apple TV previews new seasons of Severance and Silo in a teaser trailer. So in a teaser trailer, Apple TV Plus previewed its upcoming slate of movies and shows, which included first looks at Severance Season 2 and Silo Season 2. And the reason why I chose this was entirely because of Silo. I couldn't get into Severance, but Dan Girolamo over at digitaltrends.com put this article together, and it says, "Welcome back, been a minute," Seth Milchek says to Mark S. in the first look at Severance Season 2. The upcoming season of Severance will deal with the fallout of the overtime contingency in the Season 1 finale. So if there is... that isn't going to mean much to me as a spoiler or otherwise. I've watched a few episodes of Severance, but I just can't click. It just doesn't seem to speak to me. But Silo, on the other hand, was a spectacular series. It says another noteworthy show returning to Apple TV Plus is Silo, based on Hugh Howey's Silo novels. The sci-fi drama depicts a dystopian future where 10,000 people live inside a giant silo that goes hundreds of stories deep. Rebecca Ferguson. It says Common. There is a person in there named Common. I don't remember that.
I thought that was a musical artist, or maybe they're acting as well.
Gotcha. Tim Robbins, Harriet Walter, Avi Nash, Chinaza Uche, I think is the last name, star in Season 2.
By the way, if you're not familiar with Rebecca Ferguson, she's one of the main people from Dune 2.
Gotcha. Yep. So Apple TV Plus shared 4 images for Silo Season 2 featuring Ferguson, Common, Robbins, with the caption, "What secrets lie beyond the silo?" I don't want to ruin this for anybody who might stumble into Silo.
That's a must watch, though.
But think Fallout 76, without
way
any
better.
see, like Fallout 76 doesn't have a real, doesn't seem to have a mystery to it the way that Silo does. Although Fallout 76 is just as dark. It's not. See, there's no like zombie like, you know what I'm saying? There's no
It's not the same level
monsters.
of writing, the same level of acting. I don't think. Maybe the
Yeah.
same level of acting, but it's just not.
I don't know, man.
It's not on the same level.
The acting, I think, is pretty good. But the story is fundamentally different because whereas there is life seemingly going on in Fallout 76, there is no life anywhere outside of Silo. It's only within the Silo, and there's a mystery within the Silo just as much as there is now in Fallout 76, because at the end of Fallout 76, you don't know where they're going. Season 2 of Fallout 76 is going to be a big mystery. So the teaser also previewed 3 additional movies from Apple Original Films: Fly Me to the Moon, The Instigators, and Wolves. But we're not here for that. If you haven't seen Silo, go and watch the first season of Silo, because we're going to be watching Silo season 2 for sure. And it's one of the things, I mean, we have so many, it's a target rich environment for doing things for the Patreon. And I just don't know what we should start with. And
Silo, or maybe we could do Count of Monte Cristo and the Three Musketeers. I mean, there's so many things to pick from.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we'll have to follow up with this, but we're big fans of Silo for sure. Okay. Yeah, there's no ghouls or anything like that, or weird radiation monsters.
No, I think Silo and Fallout are both worth watching, but they're very different, and I do think Silo is the stronger of the two.
Yeah, I think they're tied. Let's keep going. The next article's over in, sometimes I feel like we are the two old guys in the Muppets.
I forgot their name.
What are they? I forgot their names too. I just
Statler,
forgot them too.
I think, and somebody.
Waldorf and Statler. It's Waldorf and Statler.
Yep.
We're just... one of us is just not snarky enough, though. I mean, you have to actually make some biting humor. But that's okay. Not everybody's coded for that kind of stuff. So 8 movies that the author of this article over at Screen Rant wish that Tim Burton had directed, and after watching Edward Scissorhands, which is actually named in this, today...
That's kind of why this was submitted.
Yeah, I decided to grab this from the pool. 8 movies, certain murder mysteries and dark fantasy movies. Probably would have been much better if they had been directed by Tim Burton, when the person who did direct is evidently trying to capture some of Burton's signature aesthetic. As the author assumes it is for many people, they gradually became familiar with Burton's repertoire during their youth through watching movies like Edward Scissorhands and Corpse Bride. In their case, the experience was also intertwined with going on the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland when it was dressed up as A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they ever cross-themed it.
Abigail Stevens over at Screen Rant put the article together. Tim Burton's unique aesthetic could have elevated certain dark fantasy and adventure movies, making them more dynamic. 2020's The Witches failed to capture a Burton-esque tone, lacking the vital, unsettling, and bittersweet elements, and Burton's potential directing could have improved narratives and character development in The Hobbit and Maleficent. I don't know about The Hobbit, but okay. Tim Burton's unique aesthetic is a little wacky. Like it's kind of over the top, kind of almost slapstick horror.
Right, so it doesn't work with everything.
Definitely not The Hobbit, but they say, like everyone else, they became vehement fan of Burton's best movies. So let's go and look at these movies here that they think that Tim Burton should have directed. If you've never watched Roald Dahl's The Witches 2020, if I recall correctly, it's actually a remake of a previous iteration of it that kind of fell flat.
That's interesting because from this picture, I could definitely see that being a Tim Burton movie. I don't know why, but it just strikes me that that would work.
This would work as a Burton film, definitely. And I remember, the book was previously adapted in 1990 into a movie more reliant on practical effects. Additionally, 2020's The Witches makes some changes from the novel, proving that filmmakers were comfortable making changes and could have tweaked some things for them to look better on screen. I don't know what all was actually changed from the book, but it was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who, I don't know, isn't as like horror, I don't think.
I don't think so. And in terms of what could have been changed, Roald Dahl is one of those authors that's well known and generally well respected, but there are definitely dated elements from those novels that aren't quite okay in current times.
The thing about this is I've watched this version of The Witches, and I cannot believe that it came out in 2020. It doesn't feel, and my memories don't harken to just 4 years ago. This seems
I thought it was much further back. And by the way, Zemeckis is attached to things like Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway, etc.
Yeah, Back to the Future for sure. And this is more reminiscent of Back to the Future aesthetics than it is, Roald Dahl horror. So then they talk about The Amazing Spider-Man, which I do not believe for a moment. Yeah. I mean, Tim Burton doing Spider-Man, I just can't see his aesthetic involved in this at all. If you are a fan of these movies and you know Tim Burton, and you have a perspective on this, feel free to send an email, or if you're in chat or in the chat on YouTube, feel free to let me know your perspective of this, because for the life of me, it doesn't make any sense to me that they would actually suggest this. But they do make a comment in here, so let's see what they actually say. Seeing Burton's take on a different superhero, a Marvel hero, and its famous one would have been fascinating. I think it would have fallen absolutely flat, because if anybody is taken seriously in the MCU, it's Spider-Man. That's true. Without a doubt, nobody messes with Spider-Man. They don't taint the character in any way. They don't make it slapsticky. They don't make it horror in any way. I mean, it's always Spider-Man,
But
and
I
Tom
didn't know
Holland.
Burton had done some of the Batman movies.
Yeah, but that's Batman.
I know that's not even MCU, but I didn't realize that. That seems out of the norm for him.
I guess they give him a chance, huh? But Tom Holland, by the way, does a spectacular Spider-Man. So they better get a whole lot of movies out of him really quick, because what I don't like is the next actor that fills the shoes of Spider-Man may not have that acting chops and completely, but everybody really sets aside any of that when it comes to Spider-Man. They don't really care about the actor, it seems. It's like the character. As long as you embody the character properly, it's fine. They had mentioned earlier in the very beginning of the deck statement for this that The Hobbit, I just don't see Tim Burton doing The Hobbit either. There's a certain aesthetic here that every Tim Burton movie that I've ever watched seems to be, you know what? Maybe let me pull some of the other movies up. I'm doing it live, folks. I'm doing it live. See, I don't know. So as director, right? Like Wednesday? Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Big Eyes, Frankenweenie, Dark Shadows. All of these have these like slapstick kind of caricature type characters. And there is nothing in The Hobbit that says any of those. Dark Shadows, Alice in Wonderland, Sweeney Todd, The Killers.
But Alice in Wonderland it definitely fits in terms of the oddities, I think, but it doesn't really, I don't know. I don't necessarily connect that. The other one that really throws me off is Dumbo.
Yeah, that one was interesting. There's all these anomalies in here too. So I don't know. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You see the way that it's constructed is like a caricature of a character, not the character. And there is nothing in The Hobbit that screams caricature like Willy Wonka, or even Miss Peregrine. All of it is kind of like over the top kind of a character.
Well, true. And can you imagine the uproar from...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't even think of the author at the moment.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Of the books. J.R.R. Tolkien. Like, can you imagine the uproar if there was anything remotely contrary to anything in the book?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if it got slapstickier, I think that people would have bailed out of it being even taken seriously as a part
like
of the
it
series.
was kind of epic, right? At least the trilogy, and that would have worked against it.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that scene as a Tim Burton led production. Yeah, no thanks. They just say here, Burton's The Hobbit would have been a little bit creepier and more like a fairy tale rather than a second poor Lord of the Rings trilogy. Under his direction, the scenes with Smaug is particular would have been terrifying. Peter Jackson succeeded with creatures like Gollum and Shelob because of his horror experience, allowing another... See, but Shelob, the spider, would have been more like Beetlejuice. And I just don't feel that coming from it, but that's okay. Let's keep going.
Maybe they need to have Burton on Gollum.
No. Okay, so the next one is over in the number 5 on this list. There's 8 of them, by the way. Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean. Wait, one is the place, one is the movies. So, Pirates of the Caribbean, not the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales.
I'm not touching that one.
Okay, so here's the thing about this. Burton has done a lot of movies with Johnny Depp.
Yes, like Willy Wonka, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Charlie? I think it's Willy Wonka.
It's Willy Wonka.
Then, oh my gosh,
Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, and several others. But like Alice in Wonderland, Sweeney Todd. He was in Dark Shadows as well. Gosh, what else? I'm going through the list. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many. Anyway, I said a bunch because I'm running through Tim Burton's...
Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, yeah, Sleepy Hollow. Oh, Corpse Bride, too. So I can see that happening, but it would be a completely different endeavor. I think it would be more like Beetlejuice again, you know? And so, but the creature creations here, the monsters, those I think would be fantastic. So yeah, I think that Tim Burton could definitely punch out a great Pirates of the Caribbean.
And I don't think that would be inconsistent with the tone of the movie.
No, not at
Like,
all.
it doesn't take itself very seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Jack Sparrow's character was in decline and could have used some help from someone with a different perspective on Depp's talents. But the overall story needed a new director to shake things up. I don't know. I think it needed better writing and more consistency and better continuity between the various movies. So again, this is one where as long as the actors, primarily Depp, remain consistent, you could wrap the world building around that character. But I think it needed, if it were to be under somebody else, I think the world building would need to be more external to the movies themselves. So like things going on out in the real world that lead people to want to go and see the movies. As it was, they were fun movies to watch regardless. But changing the director.
Did people necessarily care too much as long as it was entertaining?
Yeah. I certainly didn't. And I like all of the Pirates movies. So, the next one is Enola Holmes, which I never watched. They said that they found Enola Holmes to be lacking just a tad. The movies utilize a quirky breaking the fourth wall approach, while they think that some of Burton's spooky accents would have emphasized the severity of Enola's cases. Enola Holmes 3 is not confirmed, and neither is director Harry Bradbeer's return, so it could still happen. Yeah, I'd have to go and watch this. They say here that they're tempted to think that he should have been involved with Knives Out. A Burton Knives Out? Do you think that?
I don't see that.
There's nothing really supernatural or over the top about it.
And there's not, even for being a mystery, there's not really much of a creepy factor.
Yeah. The first two installments have been well received as the chronicles of a young female detective whose adventures overlap with the early movement for women's suffrage. Okay. Number 3 is Oz, the Great and Powerful.
I haven't seen this, but I would agree.
Yeah, for sure. Anything, again, it's that fantastical aspect that has kind of it's infused throughout the story, but it doesn't have to be way over the top. And that's exactly, again, I'll call back Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice had real world, and then you would enter Beetlejuice's existence and it became supernatural and over the top.
Well, and Oz has things that are just outrageous. I don't know if they're all in this show.
Yeah, flying monkeys and all that.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's Burton's strong suit for sure. Plus, the story is there so concrete that unless you do something really wonky, it'll be well received. But it's a fun show. I mean, now I think there's another one coming out. Another Oz is coming out, I think. A spin-off of it, but we'll talk about it when I get more information. Because I think, oh, no. I'm sorry. It's not based off of Oz, but it has that same feel, but we'll talk about it. We've talked about it before. I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but
it's Wicked.
Wicked, yeah. There you go. So any Harry Potter movie, I think that it would change the very feel of it so much.
I think aesthetically, sure, but I think it would remove any of the, I don't know, like the intensity or something of it.
I think the sets and the characters, other than the lead actors, would become the fascination of a Tim Burton movie. It would pull away from the actors. Because when you when you watch anything from Tim Burton, you're fascinated by the set and the costuming and all of that kind of stuff so much. There's so much to take in. I mean, for crying out loud, I think this scene is boring compared to what Burton would have them dressed in and having to interact with, and the background would be this or that. Yeah, I just don't see that. But they say with so much magic, monsters, and delightfully twisty set pieces involved, Burton and Harry Potter would have been a given. But I think that it would just become too... I don't know. Every time I watch a Burton movie, I think of like the Muppets. Like there's something beyond the character, and I'm trying to embody what that is so that it makes more sense to people.
I think it's the film style,
Yeah.
but I don't know what that film style is.
Well, if I think that it's the shots, the cinematography is different fundamentally. It's a lot more closer up. It's a lot more at a lower angle, and then every once in a while
it's like
there's this...
edgier. Like it's not in a aesthetically pleasing way, for example.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay more attention to that now. But I just don't. Again, I don't see. I see maybe the monster side of it, the supernatural side of it being great, but I don't know. And the very tone of each movie as it progresses through his existence gets darker and darker. It's like they had this huge master story for this, and it played out so well. So I don't know. We'll have to come back and talk about this again. And then Maleficent, from 2014, so it's already been 10 years. I think there's another Maleficent coming out. I think so. So it says Maleficent made the mistake of turning Maleficent into a hero. The movie would have been empty.
2025, Maleficent 3.
The musical. The movie would have been empty with no backstory justifying her villainy. However, she is not really scary at all, being perfectly kind to Aurora whenever they interact. But yeah, you would think that Maleficent would be, Maleficent, not... She seems pretty beneficent. Yeah. Which actually, when I watched it, it caught me off guard. Like, wait, she's like showing affection to something, and her name literally is bad.
Well, maybe she's not as one-dimensional as
I suppose
everybody expects.
Burton has been known to direct movies where the villain is the star character, where the protagonist is decidedly an anti-hero who does selfish things but is still human and relatable. Burton's Maleficent would have actually been scary, allowing her to be a wonderful villain. Maybe it's a story. Maybe it's a character arc, and number 3 is where she actually... And like, it's actually 6 movies, and we're just seeing the beginning of her rebranding to true Maleficent.
Her transformation.
Yeah. So Maleficent in particular is a movie that left the author disappointed, which is why it's one that they certainly wish Burton had directed. I don't know. I could buy into that. That one in particular, it needed a change.
I think Oz was the best of that list.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 3.
Yeah. I think that definitely could have used a Burton twist to it. I mean, it got close with Sam Raimi, but...
Hopefully Hollywood is looking at this article and going,
Yeah, ideas. Okay, let's keep going. Then I think the next ones we can go by pretty quick. Practical Magic 2, Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman in talks to reprise roles. I can't imagine this actually taking place and being successful. We're talking about...
This was from 1998.
Yeah, nearly 30 years ago, when these two were actually prominent actors. I I just don't
I
see
mean,
this
they're
happening.
not, right? They were kind of at their heyday, I think, when
Yeah,
that was out.
yeah, for sure. So, what do we know about Practical Magic 2? Currently, not a whole lot about Practical Magic 2 is known. Akiva Goldsman, who co wrote the original movie, will reportedly write the screenplay for the movie, with Bullock and Kidman also expected to produce the film if they sign on. More casting information, as well as who may direct the project. Tim Burton. Um,
I mean, actually, that could work, but it would change it.
maybe.
Well,
No,
maybe
it
it fits
would.
exactly.
It would change it a lot because Practical Magic was literally just a love story kind of
Wasn't
a
it
thing.
pretty light? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A fantasy romantic drama. Um, yeah. I I don't know what the story would be about, but I think that it's more apropos for a Hallmark movie deployment than it is big screen.
Yes, it actually does seem like that would be fitting.
Yeah, it's definitely like a TV dinner
Like,
movie.
yeah.
I don't know. Alongside Bullock and Kidman, the film also starred Diane Wiest, Stockard Channing, and Aidan Quinn. The film was directed by Griffin Dunn from a screenplay written by Robin Swikard, Akiva Goldsman, and Adam Brooks. 1998, based on a 1995 novel of the same name by Alice Hoffman, followed the tale of the Owen sisters who had to channel their magic to try and destroy the evil spirit of Gillian's abusive boyfriend who had been targeting the pair. While the film didn't launch to critical acclaim, it did develop a massive cult following in the years since its release. I'm really into cult films, and I don't think that I've ever sensed this being a cult classic.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. You think it's in the same category with like Hocus Pocus type movies, maybe?
Yeah, I'd give it that. Yeah. Although I don't
I'm
see
not saying it's
myself.
on the same level, but
Yeah, maybe there's a subset of people that are really into practical magic. Um, but I went out of my way for Hocus Pocus. I watch Hocus Pocus every year, at least once every year. Now Hocus Pocus 2 will be watched as well. Now that I know that Edward Scissorhands is a Christmas movie, that'll get added to the list.
right.
If you've never watched Edward Scissorhands, go watch it. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in the continuity report, The Rookie Season 7. When does the next episode come out? Well, it says after having seen all 10 episodes of The Rookie Season 6, fans are wondering when the next season of, the next episode or when Season 7 will be coming out. The Rookie is a police procedural drama following John Nolan, who becomes the oldest rookie in the LAPD. In his 40s, and due to this, Nolan faces skepticism from his superiors. That hasn't been made manifest in probably 2 seasons, at least.
I agree. Like at the beginning, that was definitely a thing, but
Yeah,
he
he's a
kind
training
of gained
officer.
everybody's respect.
Yeah. Anybody's resistance because of his ability to turn the tide on things, and he's always engaged and damn near brilliant. Even when he falls on his face, he comes out, unbruised and smelling like a rose. And I would say wherever Nathan Fillion goes, for crying out loud, the charisma that he has on screen and what seems like camaraderie amongst the cast members, it really pops out. And this is probably the grittiest show that I've ever seen him in, even though Castle is a murder procedural.
But the show is pretty light, other than the minimal scenes that they show, like the crime scene.
In Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whereas this is like long arc of everybody being abused or disappeared or deleted or threats against their family. It's a completely different animal, really. But it still has this air where you just can't be mad at Fillion for anything. And he's very likable in every role he's ever been a part of. As for when Rookie Season 7 will come out, it's currently unknown as there is no confirmed release date. However, it appears the release of the upcoming season is facing a slight delay. Oh no. Yeah.
What isn't lately?
Tim Bradford, actor Eric Winter, mentioned in a recent interview with Hello that ABC wanted to protect the show from losing viewers from potential election year distractions. He said, I know much of the priority of The Rookie is to ABC, and with this being an election year and a lot of time being devoted to those sorts of things, they're trying to protect the show. They delay the show, they're going to lose viewers.
That's exactly it. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. And I think a lot of people in an election year could use some good entertainment.
Yep. Yeah. I would rather watch this. I mean, I know what the politics are. And based on all of the news that we filter through ohmTown, you as citizens of ohmTown should know about the politics too. I mean, there's a ton in there, but it's easily ignored if you're not interested in that kind of thing. But for the most part, I think most people know where they stand on the fence about politics. If anything, people want a show where they can get away from the reality of, political BS. And The Rookie is one of those ones. I mean, if I'm working all day,
it's very engrossing pretty much in an episode. Like, you're hooked on the episode from the moment it starts to the end of the episode, and then maybe waiting for the next episode to come out.
Yep, for sure. So come on, Star Trek, come on, The Rookie, come on, Silo. There's just so many. I'm gonna have to make a playlist of every day where I can watch these after ohmTown Daily News Show, which is again changing its name, coming soon to a streaming box near you. Anyway, so nobody knows when the next episode's going to come out or when the next season's going to come out. Right? They say there will not be any new episodes of Rookie Season 6, which aired its last and 10th episode on May 21st, 2024. So, yeah. That hurts.
Oh, boo.
Yeah. Okay, next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. Presumed Innocent spins riveting mystery on Apple TV+. Based on Scott Turo's 1987 legal thriller of the same name, Presumed Innocent stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Rusty Sabich, I think is the name, Sabich, a renowned prosecutor and family man. Not the Family Guy, family man.
No, very different tone.
But it would be an awesome movie to turn, or it's
probably anything could be made funny with a Family Guy spin or whatever.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Choppa. So it says you've been walking in and out with the headset in range. Name change. Why? To make it more accurate to what the show, the context of the show is.
But the website won't change.
Yeah, the website
the
won't change.
Name won't change.
The network won't change. The show name is going to change, but that's it. Yeah. We're not changing the tone of the show. Well, we're changing the tone of the show by hopefully being funnier as time goes on. It doesn't seem to work, but no, like it's going to be the same format and all of that. It's just to make the name more apropos to the show, its content in context. But hopefully everybody digs it. Yeah. It'll be frictionless. So everybody, like even ohmTown, the channel here on Twitch and on YouTube, it'll stay ohmTown because that is where everything takes place. All of these channels take place in ohmTown. So no friction. It'll just be a smooth, frictionless, chassis lubed up kind of transition over to the new name. Anyway, the district attorney assigned Sabich a case, but Paul Hemus isn't any old work colleague. Sabich had been having an affair, so Presumed Innocent is Very intriguing. Max Coville over at RogerEbert.com, which I rarely actually pull into the show, but every once in a while I do. He's shown as a loving father and husband, spending a beautiful sunny day with his wife Barbara and their children. There's just one problem. Savage is about to have an awful day. While enjoying some time around the pool, he learns some horrific news. Authorities have found a body of his colleague. And then the district attorney signs them up to go and investigate the case. Apparently with the victim having an affair. So now he is the prime subject for the murder trial. Dun, dun, dun. Presumed innocent. So it says, this new limited series is created and written by David E. Kelly, the very same writer, creator of renowned legal dramas L.A. Law, Ally McBeal, Boston Legal, Big Little Lies, among others. Kelly has a long history of legal thrillers. It's write what you know, I suppose. What's his name? That Le Carré.
Oh, right. The spy thrillers.
Yeah. If you work in those circles, you write what you know. So LA Law, McBeal, Boston Legal. What the heck is going on? And Big Little Lies are pretty much identical, with characters more or less being silly. Although Ally McBeal, I think, was having some serious problems seeing babies dancing in the aisles.
That was over the top. I mean, that made Burton look kind of normal.
And that was like the beginning of the first viral video. That little baby kept on dancing all over the internet and stuff. What a trip. Although I do like the idea of a remote flusher. That was in either Boston Legal or Ally McBeal, because they seem to have been tied together in some way in the same universe. So it says, what drives presumed innocent is Savage's intense desire to prove his innocence. I suppose we'll have to watch this as well. With only 7 of 8 episodes provided to critics, it's hard to say whether the whodunit element of presumed innocent will match the intensity of contemporaries like Twin Peaks or Mayor of Easttown, which I haven't seen.
You know what I'm more interested in, and whether it matches up, is can't think of the name of it. It's a Netflix mystery series from a book. The Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh, interesting. If it's in the same.
Well, because I think that one is like intelligent writing. There's lots of twists. Yeah, I don't know.
What's the disposition of Lincoln Lawyer 2?
It's still going. I think it's been renewed, but I don't think there's a date.
Gotcha.
We've already seen the second season.
So here's a brutal end to this article. Despite not always being a compelling mystery, that right there just kills it. Presumed Innocent makes up for it in spades with a fantastic ensemble and a captivating feud between two egotistical lawyers. If it's not compelling...
Exactly, then why tune in?
Yeah. I don't want to just see a bunch of fights, you know? I want to see the story progress in either character growth or some type of resolution to the mystery, but it's not even a compelling mystery. And if you've read the book, then you've pretty much...
You probably know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Now, since the book was written quite a long time ago, maybe...
Yeah, I suppose. Do people really watch a movie where they know everything about it just so that they can watch people grouse about shit?
I don't think so.
That's an interesting question.
But this is also another one that is a huge time lag. Like, why are they making it now?
Yeah. Everything old is new again. It's just regurgitating the same stuff, you know? Oh, it was somewhat popular back then, so let's do it again.
Right, we have no new ideas, so let's just remake everything.
Yeah, what a bummer. Okay, let's keep going. Best thriller TV shows of 2024. I'm going to have to rifle through these really fast. These lists, man, I just get so enthralled by them.
Like, you could do a whole episode on one of these articles.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's so many things that pull you away from it. Like talking about the show Manhunt. Manhunt primarily follows Edwin Stanton, the former Secretary of War and close confidant of Abraham Lincoln in the search for the president's killer.
I think this one has good reviews, but I have not seen it.
And it's a modern experience, so it was released in March 2024. I wonder. The theme of democracy's importance is prominent throughout all 7 engrossing episodes. All 7 engrossing episodes. It's a mini-series, by the way. So, then Dark Matter. This is, again, these are all from 2024. So, this one here is he develops something and allows him to go into parallel universes. It's a show. And so he goes through a door, and his not alter ego, another version of him comes through the door and replaces him. But that's really where the trailer ends, and you don't know really what else is going on. So I've been wanting to watch this, but I haven't. It says Jason's journey across the various realities as he reflects on his choices over the years is nothing short of stellar. The entirety of Dark Matter's cast offers notably powerful performances too. So Jennifer Connelly just crushes it when she's in these shows. Jason's wife, Daniela, is Jennifer Connelly. So their on-screen chemistry is immediately apparent. Acting.
Exactly. Good acting.
Yep. Tokyo Vice. Ken Watanabe's portrayal of Karagiri continues to be one of the best performances in the show, and the depth he brings to the character as he investigates the perilous world of the Yakuza in particular is notable. So Tokyo Vice's character-driven plot focuses on Jake and Hiroto's murder investigations in the, I get to use
drum roll,
titular city. Dun, dun, dun. I always love a good deployment of titular.
It is particularly prevalent in the continuity report.
Yeah, that's true. There's always a titular character or a titular location. So, yeah, they prepare their titulars well. Tokyo Vice receives significant praise in detailed depiction of Japanese culture. Might be fun to watch. I don't know. I'll have to give it a chance. I haven't seen it yet.
I guess it depends on how much plot versus just how much violence, for example. But it could be interesting.
Constellation was started and never finished. I think
Constellation is one of those shows that you might start and think it's one genre and then maybe decide it's another one when you're in the middle of the first episode.
Yeah, in this sentence, the sentence fragment pretty much spins it the right way, although these scenes tend to veer into horror movie territory at points. Yeah, and there are these smash cuts, scare tactic kind of things that I guess cinemagraphically just I think it's kind of low rent to cause a scare, and something that I would find in a jump scare video on the internet, not in something that is supposed to have cinematic worth. So I never got back into Constellation after these kind of little jump scare kind of scenes. I don't know if the story is actually compelling or not, but it also speaks about Joe's mental state in here. The character is named Joe. Mental state rapidly declines as she tries to hold on to her limited sanity. She believes that she's like been replaced, or the kid is replaced, and it just kind of gets a little creepy. So it's less sci-fi and more horror, at least in my mind and in the AI's mind. I would agree, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So Under the Bridge is another one. This is number 4. Well, we're going to have to move on a little bit faster. Three Body Problem has gotten rave reviews, but to me, it's such a deep dive into what if kind of a thing that I cannot get into it, because it's based off of a book called Three Body Problem. Lou Sixon's book uses elements of crime procedural TV shows and hard science fiction to tell a tale about humanity's first contact with aliens during the Cold War. But everything that I've read about or watched about Three Body Problem takes it to the point where I don't know if I want to even watch this, because it's so complex and interwoven, not historical, but temporal complexities that don't even make any sense, with aliens able to do this and that and the other. And
Right. Well, the weird thing is the premise of this sounds kind of intriguing, but when you see commentary about it, you're like,
yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of plotting and.
So, like, here's the thing. The show's plot is led by Yi Wen-ji, Rosalind Chow, who's an astrophysicist who gets caught up with authorities after witnessing her father's brutal killing. However, this triggers a series of events that result in the Santee species trek to Earth. Yeah. So,
Well, how long does the trek take? Is that like a whole season?
Yeah, the way that I see it is it's almost like everything is overlapping and smushed together, and it doesn't make any sense. But maybe the show makes the book okay to consume. I don't know. Then there's Ripley. It says, while there's plenty of adaptations of Patricia Highsmith's book, The Talented Mr. Ripley, Netflix's 2024 Ripley is easily the best. The Talented Mr. Ripley as a movie sucked.
Yeah, maybe, but I wonder if this is completely different.
Yeah, maybe. It says the breathtaking noir styling emphasizes the underlying tension between Ripley's characters, improving upon the show's spine-chilling atmosphere. I suppose we'll have to take a look at this one, because it's a series. It's not, right? It's one season so far. And we're in the midst of it, so maybe it could be interesting. It says, but as the two men bond, Tom's increasing obsession with Dickie's results is plenty of lies, deception, and even murder. So Ripley follows a con artist named Tom Ripley and his mission to retrieve Dickie Greenleaf from Italy. Yeah, I don't know. True Detective Night Country. I've never gotten into any of the True Detective series. I didn't like the very first season, even though a lot of people did. All I ever see now is Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and Matthew McConaughey's rolling a little. What you do is you talk like this, and you make it. You put your hand up and you pretend like you're rolling something into a ball, something really small into a ball. That's how I see it.
Anything to do with Night Country?
It has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. But yeah, I couldn't get into. But it again, I feel like I'm like a lot of people who years later end up looking back at it and going, "Oh yeah, this is great now," but then you just didn't get it. I always think about Arrested Development, like it was not my thing back then, but then years later I end up watching it and it's hilarious. Anyway, Danver tries to be hopeful, but doesn't allow her optimism to distract her from the harsh realities of life. It's a chilling mystery, and the Alaskan backdrop makes the overall tone of Night Country even more haunting. It's all set in a fictional town of Ennis, Alaska, like ohmTown. ohmTown Internet. All right, folks, let's keep going. We've got 3 more articles. We're running long. Yeah, but this one will be really easy.
9 more.
This one will be really, not 9 more, only 3 more. This one's really easy. So could a Spaceballs sequel finally be happening? So not one, but two Spaceballs. Gordon Jackson and James Whitbrook put the article together, plus 28 days later adds a Star Wars and Marvel star. So that's another section within this Gizmodo.com article. I loved Spaceballs. I think it's a hilarious movie. And there's so many things, not to pull Elon Musk into this, but he made his truck, the Cybertruck, right, is built off of a design that like his kid drew or something like that, and is cyberpunky and written with the cyberpunk font, which is something that I played when I was 12, and I have played, like periodically and read, and now there's a computer game, and so what I'm going to be doing, and I thought that I would make it a little bit more succinct, but it's failing, which is kind of why the show's name is changing. Wait, Choppa says, "Oh yes, please." Are you talking about Spaceballs 2? I suspect that they're going to call it 2 Spaceballs, but
Pair of Spaceballs.
A pair of Spaceballs. That's a really good one. Ah, wow, I really like that one, huh? So like, Musk made a flamethrower, right? Everything that Musk has done is built off of movies that he watched when he was a kid, and I just find it really kind of hilarious. Okay, well, anyway, let's see. The co-writer wants, it says Saw 11's co-writer wants the film to have something to say. Peacemaker season 2 adds more to its cast. Where are they talking about Spaceballs in this? There it is. So in a recent Instagram post, Josh Gad posted an edited script cover he claims to be the funniest and best thing that he's ever worked on. Though obscured, the cover claims the material is based on characters created by Mel Brooks and opens on an exterior shot of a star field. So this
that probably narrows it down a little bit.
This would be amazing. I want this so bad to happen. And I could probably put a list together of more of these parallels between what Musk does. And
who do you think Josh Gad would play in this? Assuming it's a known character, I don't know.
You put me on the spot, man.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Who says just handed in a film? Just handed in a film script that I think may be the funniest and best thing I've ever worked on, and I'm so freaking excited. Working with my boys, Cuban Missile H or Missile DH, and Benji Samet, or Benji S. Amit. I'm not sure who these two are, but has been heaven on earth and many other planets as well. Love you, boys. So this is a done script.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tone of this.
Yeah, this isn't like, oh, we might write this in 10 years.
Do you think Josh Gad would play Dark Helmet?
That's what I was kind of thinking, but I don't know.
I don't think
because
that
they're going to have. It's been such a long time. They're going to have like all new people, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Mostly.
many people. Yeah. I mean, maybe he could play Barf, the dog guy. He's a man and a dog. He's his own best friend.
I don't know.
I want this so much. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Moranis can do Dark Helmet still. Princess Vespa. I don't know if they would do this. I mean, Josh Gad wouldn't play Princess Vespa. Well, hey, you know what?
You know what?
Why not?
Knows.
Yeah. Anyway, this would be awesome. Okay, I want this to happen, but there isn't much here other than the fact that there's a film script that appears to be complete, which would be amazing. Come on, 2025. A pair of Spaceballs would be awesome as a title, too. You heard it here first, folks. My the sentient AI from the future came up with the name, if it is a pair of Spaceballs. All right. Anyway, and then no, I don't want to say that. They have to sell physical copies.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, a new Apple TV heist film reunites Matt Damon with the Bourne Identity director, so maybe it's going to be like the Bourne Identity. Apple TV Plus offers a diverse array of TV series with comedies like Ted Lasso and Shrinking, dramas like Presumed Innocent and The Morning Show, and sci-fi series galore. Most of the biggest TV Plus original movies, Coda, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, lean towards serious subject matter, but later this summer, a new comedic heist film looks set to offer a lot of fun and reunite Matt Damon with his former director of The Bourne Identity. So it's called The Instigators. So I've been hearing a bit about it, but haven't looked at all. So Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. Okay.
I mean, if
that's
it's
interesting.
the director of Bourne Identity and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that's promising.
Yeah. But didn't Matt Damon and Ben Affleck come up together? So
yeah,
this is the brother?
That's a little weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were in
what was it?
I forgot what it was.
Beautiful Mind. Beautiful Mind, right?
No,
not Beautiful Mind. Oh God. The one where he says that he's wicked smart.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. So fun summer heist film coming to TV Plus August 9th. No, they came up together, but that's where Matt Damon.
9 movies together.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, they came up together. I mean,
that's the most Field of Dreams. I didn't know they were in that. But anyway, Good Will Hunting is probably the one that they're most known for being in together.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Everywhere that one went, the other went. It was almost like they were like merged. It was one person, like a Harry Potter character. If you took the hat off, they turned into the other person.
Yes.
So unlike recent big budget TV Plus films, The Instigators is getting a very short theatrical window. It's coming to select theaters on August 2nd. It arrives on Apple TV for all subscribers a week later on August 9th. Perhaps the first sign that a theatrical strategy shift for Apple. Yeah, I think that a lot of people are discovering that you can just buy a movie now or rent a movie at home and you don't have to pay $30 for a dried out husk of a popcorn bag. And the synopsis of the film is they're reluctant partners, a desperate father, and an ex-con thrown together to rob a corrupt politician's ill-gained earnings. But when the heist goes wrong, the two find themselves engulfed in a whirlwind of chaos, pursued not only by police, but by backward bureaucrats and vengeful crime bosses. Completely out of their depth, they convince Rory's therapist to join their riotous getaway through the city, where they must put aside their differences and work together to evade capture or worse. The Instigators also stars Michael Stolberg, Paul Walter Hauser, Vin Rhames. Really? Okay.
Oh.
Alfred Molina.
Interesting.
Toby Jones, with Jack Harlow and Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman is in this too? Dear God. This is kind of like The Replacements, where you sit there and see this stunning cast of actors that you're like, how did they get all these people together and still make budget? Anyway.
Yeah, it's a weird combination.
Yeah, The Instigators is...
sounds promising so far.
Yeah. But it says the director of The Bourne Identity and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which, based on the synopsis, doesn't really smack of Bourne Identity or Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Right. Well, and also I wonder, is it the director of the movie or the TV show?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that's what that... Well, we'd have to look at the director. I don't really know who the director is of Bourne Identity or Mr. and Mrs. Smith. All right. So we got one more article, and that one is in Technology Today. One of Stephen King's best recent novels is being made into a show, a TV show, I guess. for MGM Plus. So now the big thing is, what's really funny is I actually started a service 30 years ago that had that little plus denomination to it. And as time went on, everybody was like, oh, let's get rid of the pluses. And now pluses are back, baby. 30 years later.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So MGM Plus has ordered an 8-episode series based on Stephen King's 2019 novel, The Institute. Deadline reported this week. The novel follows the plight of 12-year-old Luke Ellis and a group of other children with telepathic and telekinetic abilities who have been kidnapped and held captive at a facility deep in the Maine woods. This really screams to me as the TV show or the Netflix series with the actor named, well, the character is named 11, and they go into the Upside Down. It slipped my mind.
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things, because that's what the kids had. There were kids that were taken and research was done on their ability to be telepathic. Yeah, Stranger Things. Choppa through Stranger Things.
Upside Down, let me know which show it was.
Yeah. And I don't know how long the delay is anymore, because we go through Restream to stream to both Twitch and YouTube. So sorry if there's too much delay in between. But it says their story becomes intertwined. And Choppa says that 11 was their clue too. So, and yours was upside down. So anyway, I'm so easily distracted.
Dust.
It's like, somebody shine a laser and I'll just fall off a flight of stairs, for crying out loud. Anyway, they really enjoyed this one when it came out. And as a lifelong King reader who has become hardened against the disappointment of terrible adaptations, I think they're excited for this. The thing about Stephen King's novels is I think that they're all tied in one world. The world building is all tied together. It isn't a multiverse. They're all parallel. All the worlds. Yeah, squirrel? Choppa said squirrel. Huh? Squirrel? Where? What's really neat is if you go and do a search for the Dark Tower universe, there's an explainer about this. And now I wonder where the Institute is in the Dark Tower omniverse, because everything that Stephen King seems to have written is tied to the Dark Tower universe. So I'm going to end up getting the Institute because I'm trying to get more into the Stephen King novels, because a lot of people that I've spoken to over the years about Stephen King is like, it's a horror this, horror that, but it's not as bad as a lot of people talk about Stephen King's novels, as if they're really like bloody murder, blah, blah, blah. You know, it is kind of, but when you pull back the layers of the onion of that, it's not as bad as people perceive it to be, because it's been hyped up a lot. But it is bad, and it's really different than, like, the book is way different than the movies. But the Dark Tower has its own, like, mystique. And when you watch this explainer, you go, oh, wow, that's really cool. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up getting into these Stephen King novels. So the last article is over at Engadget. Cheyenne McDonald is the author of the article. The deck statement says production on the Institute starts later this year, according to Deadline. So they got it from Deadline. Which we get their headlines as well. But yeah, I mean, it's Stranger Things. Kinda, you know? Let's see what else is in here.
I was trying to find the
That's all
Omniverse information, but I couldn't find it quickly.
I'll see if I can find it really quick and put it in the show notes so that other people can watch this. It's really neat. So they say that they really enjoyed this one when it came out, so they hope that the adaptation is going to be a little more faithful and positive. So far, all we know about the cast is that it includes Ben Barnes from Shadow and Bone, which I really liked the beginning of Shadow and Bone, but I don't know, to me it lost the plot. And as Jameson and Mary Louise Parker from Weeds as the villainous Mrs. Sigsbee, according to Deadline. Please don't spoil this. You know, like, they're like a sentence away of ruining this.
Yeah,
for
I know.
everybody.
I'm like, it's getting really ominous here.
Yeah. So, like all things mysterious, I'm going to cast a spell and we're going to end up right back at the front of Continuity Report. And you'll be able to get to Continuity Report yourself if you go to Food, Drink, and Entertainment over at ohmTown.com. Scroll down, and at the bottom is the Continuity Report. Doink. And it'll refresh and populate with some more news. The complete list of 2024 Tony winners. All right. But that's it for the Continuity Report. We're running really, really late. So I'm going to reset, and we'll do Technology Today. Max 10 minutes. We'll be back up. And so actually, let me just say, we'll lock it down at 8:15 because we are
Eastern.
8:15 p.m. Eastern. We are way late. Okay, that's it, folks. I am Mayor Watt. That is the Continuity Report, and that is the neurons. That
No? Good
Go
night, ohmTown citizens.
See you, everybody.